Hi there. Let's talk about sitting. We all know sitting for too long is really bad for our bodies and our health. And the reason for that is because when we don't move, we become really static, which means we become more weak. And over time, it leads to things like increased blood sugar, increased high cholesterol, more stiffness in our joints, and more weakness in our bones and muscles. We also have reduced blood flow, both to our brain, our extremities, etc. And it just amplifies over time. So Alan Hedges, a professor at Cornell University, who's a professor of ergonomics, recommends following the 28-2 rule. So that's for every 20 minutes of sitting, you're going to do 8 minutes of standing and 2 minutes of movement. So I wanted to give you some ideas of what that 2 minutes of movement can look like. 8 minutes probably of standing makes a lot of sense to most of us, so we're not going to talk about that, but let's get some good ideas about how to do those 2 minutes of movement. And we're going to add some intention to this to maybe give you a brain break as well. So if you would, join me from up out of your seat and let's get going. So I have my timer set to 2 minutes here. The first thing we're going to be doing is actually standing with a really wide base. You can turn your toes out a little bit. And we're just going to be sinking our body weight from left to right. This doesn't have to be super deep. You can keep it deep if you want a little more out of this. And then you can already see me kind of moving my arms. Your arms can do whatever you want them to. I kind of like to give a little bit of a wave with this. So we're going to go ahead and start the timer and let's move. All right. So pushing the arms from left to right, sinking that body weight side to side. We really want to try to load the big muscles of the body. And we're just kind of moving the hands with whatever feels good. I like to kind of go one hand up, one hand down, almost like I'm holding a box from one end to the other. You can also kind of make this a little bit more into a wave or like a figure 8 with your arms, or just swing them side to side like you're pushing water in a pool. And that's what we're going to build for our intention, is thinking of this as being a wave. So we know stress can come in waves. We know that things that are challenging in our life can be waves of providing us with an opportunity to build resilience. So how can we use our bodies to get stronger and push up against those waves of stress to be able to handle them better the next time? Just keep sitting back in those heels. If you want to build a little bit more out of this, just stay a little bit lower in this, kind of more ninja-like. If it's feeling a little bit too difficult, just stay a little bit taller and bring those hands in a little bit more. Okay? Again, just breathing through this, taking those nice, good, long breaths, getting into the moment with our bodies. Shifting that weight left to right. Left to right. Relax those shoulders down away from the ears. Using this moment to be grateful for being able to build up the ability to push back against what you have to do every day, because oftentimes sitting is something we have to do. Sometimes we do it for pleasure, but oftentimes we have a choice to get up and be in our bodies. All right, stopping there. So the next thing we're going to be doing is a stepping back row. So what I mean by that is we're going to get started with feet together. We're going to hold almost like we have a tray in our hands. We're going to tap a foot back. So you'll bend one knee, you're going to tap a foot back, reach your arms forward, and then we're going to step back together, pull the elbows back, and squeeze your shoulder blades together. We're going to hold a good strong core with this, and we're going to alternate legs. All right, so starting again, here we go. So we're going to reach, tap the foot back, row. And so you can take this at whatever pace feels right for your body. You want to think about, again, loading that heel that's staying in front. Keep a really tall spine. So imagine a string pulling your head up towards the ceiling, loading that hip, getting a good hip hinge, we call this. If you want, again, a little bit more out of this, just sink even lower into each step. I'm taking a pretty moderate pace here, but you could always speed it up or slow it down. And to build intention out of this, each time you stand, remember that we're tall as an oak tree. Every oak tree starts as a tiny seed. And so even if you're starting from a little bit of movement, remember that you can build to be as strong as you choose. We start small and we keep growing as we plant those seeds of movement, paying attention to our bodies, giving it what it needs, rather than maybe just going to the default every day of what is your norm or what feels easiest. Again, simple ways to keep breathing through this. Inhale as you reach, exhale as you stand, focusing on that mental position of getting really tall, feeling your strength, spreading those fingers wide, feeling the expansion in your chest, noticing how that can really build a sense of confidence, knowing that you're stepping up to the challenge of taking care of yourself today. Doing great. Keep working through this, almost there. And that's the end of that 2-minute break. One final 2-minute movement break for you today is going to be a squat with a scoop. So we're going to sit back into those heels again, feet about hip width apart. When you're doing this, imagine that you're just tapping your booty back towards a wall. So literally if I was standing about a foot away from my wall, I just tap the wall and come up. That's a good, and even if you use a wall, great, okay? So loading those heels, we're gonna take the palms up again. We're gonna swing the arms back and we're gonna scoop them up and kind of scoop everything up and away behind our head, okay? So again, starting the timer, we are going to sit back, bring the arms back, stand and scoop the hands overhead. So we want to brace our core here. Think again still of moving the spine as one unit. So we keep the head sort of all in one straight line from the tailbone so that we're loading our rear end and legs more than we're loading the back. It sometimes helps to kind of press your heels strong and apart into the floor. And this one you can really use that breath, right? And as we're doing this, to build intention again, we're going to think about throwing your cares away. So what is weighing on you today? What is the thing that if you could make one small shift to make your life just a little bit easier, bring in a little bit more joy by pushing that aside, what do you need to throw back behind you? What can you scoop up and put away? Breathing into that, truly letting yourself and your body feel into a little bit more ease by putting some effort into doing the hard work. Okay? Same idea, keep that breath up. It should feel really good, like this sense of like, oh my gosh, my blood, I can feel it literally scoop as I scoop down, feeling my fingers. Feel that sense of relief as the arms whoosh back over your head. And your heart rate should be up a bit. These are great ways to truly feel yourself be alive in your body. And again, mentally just checking in for this one moment here that hopefully is happening every 30 minutes or so throughout your day. And that was our 2-minute buzzer there. So I really hope that you're able to include these into your daily routine, whether you're a mom who has to sit a lot with a newborn baby, you're someone who's at work and you're sedentary a lot because you have to be, you're a commuter, maybe even you need a break at the soccer field while you're watching your kids be active, whatever it looks like. I know that might be silly to do these in front of people, but I promise you the reason people are looking is because you're doing what they should be doing too. So enjoy. Feel free to ask me any questions, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you on the portal again here soon.